now that I've projected all the numbers and put everything in the way that I want to, new variations, um, and new projected numbers, I still have to change the dates. I'm going to show you how to translate this into a full training block. So if we go over here, I have my current block, which is completely blank except for the intensities, which correspond with these, right? So if you look across, I have at least the main ones, first three all completely accurate, and we're good to go. So first things first, I'm going to fill out all the exercises, accessories, all that kind of stuff, and go from there. So what do I have? I'm just going to put box squats. I don't need to get that specific. I have the specific variation fully noted there. I know what I'm doing. I know what that setup looks like. So we have box squats. After that, I have my secondary deadlift, which I have not decided yet. After that, we have our mid-back row. Right now, I am doing bent over dumbbell rows. That started with a neurological adaptation phase where I did strict 20 to 30 reps, very controlled, tried to close my eyes when I can. This was for the intention of increasing my actual kinesthetic awareness and my connection to the individual muscle. This is for challenging and getting a stimulus from increasing your contractile tissue. So this is going to continue as far as I can push it. I'm not going to go outside of that contracting range. There's a certain barrier where you will get above where you can no longer contract harder. Okay, so that weight tops out around under a main lift like 70%, something like that. So I'm only going to stay in this range, gradually work down in reps. I'm now down to 5 sets of 10, and I'm just going to maintain that. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting strength training. I'm working in a rep range and a progression method that will cause strength adaptation. I am also essentially milking the hypertrophy for all that it's worth in staying in that contractile range. Now, how do you stay within that? You essentially you don't sacrifice form for anything. You you completely get rid of your ego. You don't move up in weight until you can move up in reps and sets, and until you can move up in control. So, for example, if I have prescribed, I think I have 5 sets of 10 prescribed at 55-pound dumbbells this week. I'm going to stay at 55 pounds until it is so easy that I know that 60 pounds is going to be able to be maintained in that same exact control. And it might only be for one set, right? Like I might one week hit all 5 sets at 55 pounds, and then another week I might hit 4 sets and then try the 60s and only get 3 reps that are controlled. And then depending on how sloppy they are, I might finish out, but I'll make a mental note like, okay, there's the barrier. Now we need to go down a little bit. So one thing that I can do is I can move that 60-pound set up earlier in the 5 sets of 10. I can try it on the second or third set and maybe get a few more controlled reps and just very, very gradually chip away at making the entire 5 set of 10 block 60 pounds. Once that happens, then I'm in good shape enough to get 65 pounds for at least 2 or 3 very controlled reps. And as soon as I can get one set of 2 or 3 reps in that controlled contractile range, then we have something to work off of. We can progress from that and we can add to that. So it's all about getting that first little step in. Rambled there for a second. But, anyways, when that gets to the point where I'm handling loads that are too heavy and they start to take away from other lifts, I will switch that to a chest supported variation to save myself that fatigue. And then I've been working on this squat machine. I really like. I think I'll stick with it. I want to progress it into pistol squats eventually. So I'm doing lots and lots of step ups pretty much every day in my warm up and cool down routines, which will eventually get progressed into full pistol squats at that same frequency. But I would like a loaded step up or pistol squat type movement more for hypertrophy and building more in a fixed position. So maybe I will try single leg on this variation. Maybe I'll stick with it. I'm just going to put squat machine for now and just kind of go off how I feel. Honestly, it's been going so well for right now. I'm just going to say I'm just going to stick with it because I only have been at this gym for 4 weeks now to do this first block. So a lot of things, like the push press variations and the box squat variations, where I've had access to the same exact thing at different gyms, I feel comfortable with, slightly modifying those and changing the variation. But this is something that has been exponentially getting better, both in quality and in weight each week. So it's something that I might stick with for an entire 12 weeks before I switch it up again. And then I'm going to put core stuff. So like neck, side planks, abs, really anything. Kind of been going off feel on those days. And we've got push press. We've got behind the neck thrusters. I've been debating. I might start those from a bottom position. Just kind of been experimenting with those things, doing what feels fun, but also picking things that I really can't go wrong with as far as productivity. I'm so new on a lot of these Olympic style presses and push press type things that as long as it's extremely similar, the small variation doesn't really matter. So I'm going to try probably starting from the bottom position on those. And then we've got strict one arm press, a lat pull down. You can think of that as a counter to everything that we just did. We're working our back and T-spine in the opposite movement, but same plane. Opposite loading, but same plane as the rest of the day. And then we have tricep extensions, deadlift, biceps, and I'm going to switch these because. So, why did I do that? This is a finisher. It's supposed to completely fucking gas me. I'm supposed to do my failure training for triceps here. And I don't want that to take away from these things. This in particular requires quite a bit of neurological energy. This is not to be pushed to failure. This is actually for strength and being far away from failure. So I don't want my body or any other muscle group being that close to failure at that point. And as far as energy systems goes, this one is going to take priority over that one because one requires failure and one requires less than failure, and so that's the way I structure it. I put face pulls in there just because I need to start doing some more rear delt work. Okay, and set these up. Wow, we can just copy and paste this all the way down. Now, first week's a down week. That means this is the intensity of the first two main days. The first two main days are strength days. So lower body and upper body strength. I only have one upper body. I only have one lower body. So I only need one focus for strength. Everything else can drive it up. I don't need to get two things strong at the same time. I need to get my entire body stronger. So we know that in down weeks, what I've done for myself, give myself quite a bit of a range, but I'm not going to go over 70%. So what I want to do, it's 50 to 70%. So, and it's 1 to 2. I'm going to do anywhere from 8 to 15. And I'm going to do like 225 to 315 on the bar. Pretty wide range. This is purely for feel. The main intention is to rest, get accumulated to old mechanics that have broken down from the previous block, and to get accumulated to new mechanics going into the new block. So, you're priming, whatever. Whatever stupid word makes you take it in the best is the right word. Now, I've been doing snatch grip on this variation, or this slot rather, and I think I want to keep going with it. There's really no reason to change, and I don't feel like, since that first block was the first fucking block, it's almost like that first block itself is a first week, if that makes sense. So a lot of these variations I picked for the first time, and they work so well that I want to keep with them. So I don't have to change everything block to block. The block doesn't have to be a clear box like this. It can run together like this, right? As long as the intention is clear cut, as long as the fatigue is clear cut, as long as the individual lift progressions are clear cut, then they can run together any way that fits best. So we'll just keep that as snatch grip for now. I've been pulling singles, just kind of, again, playing around, so I do want to add a little bit more structure. I did a set of 5 at 405 this last week. It was really easy. So let's make my range like, I think I should probably go up in reps. So say 2 by 10 to 15. I want to do, say 275 to 315. I worked up to 225 for a top set of 8 last time. So that means the ascending sets were very light. They were considered warm-ups. Now I want to do 3 sets within a range of a top set, so not including the warm-up sets. So I'm just going to see what I can do with 3 sets at 225. Core, that's dessert. We'll save that for later. Push press, 1 by 1 by RP9. This is actually a somewhat heavy day, and the only data I have collected is very low end form correctional type stuff, and then the behind the neck thruster previous block. So I know I probably am not going to push press more than 350 pounds. Probably won't even attempt that. There's really no reason to. I'm expecting, like 335, somewhere in there, 315 to 335. We're just going to slowly creep up and see what I can do. But this first block is the first real block with the front rack push press. So there is a bit of testing the waters aspect to this particular week, just like there was in the previous block with the behind the neck thrusters. So I'm just going to leave that part blank for now. We're going to see what happens. Behind the neck thrusters started from the bottom position. I don't know. Like, I'm just going to get in there and see how things feel. I'm probably just going to work up to a single, double, or triple and just be fine. The bottom position might not even fucking work. I might just do it the normal way or find a different variation. Right now, that's my play around slot. So we'll update that later. no reason to stress on that. This one, I'm going to go back around and repeat the exact same rotation, standing, standing, bent, seated, and Scott with just a little bit heavier weight, same reps, same thing that I did last block, all the way around again. I'm just going to make it a little bit heavier on the same dumbbell. Lat pull downs, still just chipping away at that. So this is 3 by 10. And this is, I'm at, they're single numbers just labeled on the plates. They're not actual weight. So I'm working between 9 to 13, I believe. I gotta get better at actually tracking those. Tricep extensions. This first one is 3 sets of 3 at 435. Front squat. I just hit 365. This is my tissue tolerance slot, so I'm pushing this one up as high as I can go with absolutely zero form breakdown, and I'm using certain measurements and tools to keep those things in check, like beltless, long pauses, footing and rooting assessments, bracing assessments, things like that. So things to make sure that though I'm maxing it out to absolute max effort, I'm also keeping it way under my actual total max strength. Yeah, I'm going to test this one like every 4th week on the last week of each block. So let's work backwards on this one. If this one is going to be the test, 1 by 1 by 370 to 400. This will be our down week. So last down week I did 225 for this slot. So let's just say 245 for this one. So, which means I'll need to push them a little bit harder without being all that heavy these 2 weeks. So we're looking at ranges of, 315 to 335. Probably just take 335 for an AMRAP. This one. And that should be just fine. Okay, so if that's my 3 by 3, that's the last week. This is a good example of what I meant. So this right here is the final week. This is the first week of the block, but it's the final week in my deadlift progression. So this is one of those examples of where the block kind of fits together like this. So this, week 2 of the block is week 1 of the new 4-week deadlift progression. And it ends up that way because we have weak points, right? Certain things need to progress at different rates. Sometimes they progress at different rates because that's what they do and we don't have an option. And so in order to have the perfect plan, we have to have the imperfect solutions. Deadlifts. So 8 to 12 by 2 by 405. Skill practice carries. Still not fully organized on what I'm doing here. Kind of a research slot. I'm going to take some time to think about that one before I address it. 3 to 5 by 6 to 10. Core dumbbells. So I'm going to do first week on dumbbell. I'm just going to work up to a thruster at 175. Week 2, I'm going to work up to 175 again, but I'm going to do it for a set of 2. I'm going to do a thruster and then a contest rep. The 3rd week, I'm going to add another piece to it. Same weight. Thruster 2, paused dip, 2, contest rep. Okay, then I'm off again. Back to the top. Face pulls, 3 to 5, 8 to 12. I'm going to do, again, 3 to 5. We're going to go 10 to 15. Biceps, 5 by 10. And then this one is 1 to 3 rounds of failure. Our first week in. This is our 5-week one. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I just end up repeating the same weights with this new setup. So for fuck's sake, I'm just going to put the same thing for everything. Since it's a new band setup, it's a little bit less band tension, but supposedly supposed to be a little bit harder. And right now, there's no rush to like push this one. I just want to get into a consistent groove where I can add band tension to it each block and continually repeat the same weights. So the plan is this is 25% band tension. I'm going to do this block, increase band tension by 5%, so we're at 30. Repeat the weights, increase band tension by 5% again, so we're at 35%. Repeat the weights. So that's a 12-week block. And then this is 1 to 2 by 2 to 3. Percentages will come later because I'll have an accurate depiction of where I'm at. And this is my heavy week, sorry. So this is 1 by 1. This is our 1 by 10 to 15 by very light 185 to 225 type range. This is our heavy week, P8 to 9. That is not true for that. That's going to be like a 7. All right, so let's just fill that in since I said that. 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay. Okay. This is always 3 by 10. This is always 3 to 5. 8, 12. That's my play around slot. Not doing anything there yet. As long as it stays under 8. Just put 1 to 3 by 1 to 3. That's typically what I do there. 1 to 3 by 1 to 3. Easy money. This is our 3rd week, so this is our 1 to 2. 2 to 3. Let's line these accessories up and the deadlift up, and we're good to go. So this is where I'll probably pull, just kind of test the waters and work up a bit, see where I'm at. Not like a full test, but just kind of push up on, expand upon the range that I've been working in. And then I'll repeat what I did this last block. So I just did 1 set of 5 here, 1 set of 3 to 5, and I'll just make it heavier than 405. So we'll go 415 to 445, and we'll just slowly chip away at that. Okay, fill in the deadlift day. We've got deadlift 3 by 3 by 435. Got our doubles at 405. That means we've got 3 sets of 5 at 435, which means we have 1 to 3 by 10 to 15 by, no, I'm wrong. So this is the last week of the deadlift progression. 3 sets of 10 here for all these. That's just a vague way for filling it in right now. Like I said, I'm still researching this slot. Everything should be in order except the RPEs, which I typically don't fill out till after I do it because I assume that I want everything at 8. And except this heavy singles that I take. One here and one on the push press at the opposite end of the block. Other than that, I want them to all be 8s. Now we'll fill in the warm-up stuff. Okay, that's it.